The Vikings, the most brutal warriors that ever lived. When you think of the Vikings, you probably imagine horned helmets, wild battle cries, and maybe even some treasure. But who were the Vikings really? What did they eat? Where did they live? And what was their daily life like? They loved their weapons. Well, first off, they weren't all that different from us. They had families and ate regular food. For the most part, their houses weren't all that different from ours either. The only real difference was their weapons. And there is no better feeling than holding a perfectly crafted weapon made for one purpose: killing. You might not believe me, but the truth is that the Vikings were more than just brutal warriors. They were also explorers, traders, and adventurers. They sailed to new lands, discovered new cultures, and made new friends. And although they are often remembered for their fierce fighting skills, it was their curiosity and willingness to explore that really set them apart. So the next time you hear the word Viking, don't just think of horned helmets and bloodthirsty warriors. Think of brave explorers who dared to venture into the unknown and whose legacy continues to inspire us today. And then there were the Viking women. They weren't as oppressed as women in other places at the time. They could own property and even go to war. Just imagine a female warrior with a shield and a sword. But of course, the Vikings are most famous for their brutal battle tactics and their love of treasure. But what many people do not know is that they had a very interesting connection to the Islamic world. One Viking who traveled to the Middle East wrote this: "I have seen things that you wouldn't believe, things that if I told you, you wouldn't believe." So what did he see? Well, that's another story. And let's be honest, horned helmets would look pretty cool on any battlefield. But did they actually wear them? Well, that's a whole other story. The Vikings were known for their brutal raids and their love of treasure. The Viking Age lasted for almost 300 years, but how and why did it end? That's the question we'll answer next. The legacy of the Vikings is still alive today. But what if I told you that their influence can be felt all around the world?